You don't.
Yeah, you
get burned out.
You add a day off out of every week, and that kind of helps. But
go see movies.
Yeah,
it's pretty hard. I think.
It's really hard.
We do get burned out. I think everybody does. I mean, the thing about being in a band or whatever is you can't call in sick for work. I mean, if you're too sick to play, that's a huge deal. And we usually play sick, or all of us have played with fevers. All of us have played with messed up body parts or gashes in our hand, or it's just the way. This is all we. I don't know why we do it this way, but
yeah,
we just always have. And
yeah, it is the way it is.
Wouldn't that affect your performance?
Sometimes it does, and sometimes it pushes it to be a better performance. There's so much going on in your head that you want to lash out, and that's the only therapy you have is the 45 to 30 minutes on stage, and everything else is it's lame, riding in the van and stuff like that. I mean, we should have canceled for the last U.S. states. We should have canceled the last week because we flipped our van, and I mean, we shouldn't have really continued, but there's an itch that we have to do this. It's, at least for me, it's probably one of the only things I do, I think, halfway decent in life, so why not? But, I mean, for me, it was kind of like a wake-up call because we do it so much. And I kind of wanted to go home and take a break, which might be, some people might take that as oh, what a wuss, but, I mean, it had been 7 weeks just about at that point, but the way we work in a band is it's a democracy, and these guys had a really good point, and the point being that we came out of there basically with little or no injuries, and it was you might as well just keep doing it. There's only a couple more days, and
plus there was a lot of grief through that. I was in a different car, so I wasn't in the crash, and I was 90 miles away from my boys, and they were hurt, and they were shaken up, and I was shaken up, and the fact that we weren't all in the same room was really super frustrating because we were trying to call in bad phone lines and ice storms, and so when we did decide to do the rest of the tour, I just I felt like I had to get something off my chest, and I just felt so shaken up that the only thing that made me feel normal was going back and playing shows with our friends and seeing our friends in those cities, and it turned out for the best. But also, our band isn't a choreographed band at all, or there's no real set thing that's going to happen, so if some nights we're on fire and other nights we're not, it's just honestly the way we are, and we make honest music and we play honestly, so it's not planned, it's not rehearsed, and therefore you get what you get that night. And we have friends that have seen us 30 or 40 times throughout their lives, and they always say there's different dimensions to our band, so I mean, you should come to more than one show, you'll see different things. It's not just in sync. It's kind of the hand in the glove. It's I don't know.
I think they're just both as important. Right now I'm in the state of mind where I want to go work on a new record, because by the time we've already started playing it, and by the time people start hearing it, we've already played it a million times, and we're pretty burnt out on it, And then when a single becomes a single, you hate it, and when it gets on rotation, people love it at first, and then they hate it. You know what I mean? It's people play it too much. You know what I mean? And then you get tired of it. So, but I love both aspects. I love being secluded and making a record, and being in a laboratory, It's just creating something, and then I love being able to travel around and show everyone this is what we were working on. This is what we were secluded for. This is why we did that. So
I think there's a big urge to share your music, share your. I mean, that's why we started the band in the first place, was to just communicate, get out of El Paso, and exchange ideas with other people and
show them that is what's going on in El Paso.
Yeah. So it's sort of one without the other. You can't really do. I wouldn't want to tour without making records. I wouldn't want to make records without touring. So maybe at some point we'll quit touring. We're too old.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
Selling out is so weird because we were never the band that stood behind the slogan or the banner of being anti-major label or anything like that either. And I think it's about time that people involved in our musical scene start fighting back some of the dumber rock that's out there. And the sooner that we do that, the more choices people are going to have on television. Kids in Middle America, they don't know anything other than what's on TV right now because they're taught that to be, that is their record buying, is a remote control. You know, and when I grew up, my hometown dictated what I had to do to find my entertainment, and that means you have to dig. Whereas, like, you know, it's like punk rock people, they know what it's like to actually get their hands dirty in order to find really good music. And every other day mainstream people that just listen to the radio, it's just kind of force fed to them, and they go, okay, yes, that's good.
They get loyal to genres.
Yeah, and that's really boring. And I think you have bands like Blonde Redhead, who tour with Red Hot Chili Peppers, Dismemberment Plan, who opened up for Pearl Jam, Murder City Devils, who we're going to tour with, have opened up for Pearl Jam as well. And I think it's time that bands like us get together and start doing that, and that we don't let all the political rules involved in punk rock hold us back, because then pretty soon all the dumber rock that's around right now is just going to reign supreme, and we will have never had a say, and we're just going to kind of go unnoticed, which is, I guess, the point to being underground. But it's pointless to me, you know. I think it's
preaching to the converted.
Yeah, if you preach to the converted all your life, what change are you doing? And punk rock's always been a revolutionary format, and I think if you just kind of like, if you take into account maybe the way you used to look in high school, and if you were ever that person that had blue hair, or you know, you had a piercing, and before that all that stuff was cool, and you got made fun of, or you got chased down the hallways, or you were accused of being gay because of a certain way you looked and a certain kind of music, then I think now in the year 2000 it's about time that you prove to everybody that, you know, you were, if not their equal, even better than they were, by choosing to you know, let your freak flag fly, you know what I mean? Just standing up and saying, this is who we are, you know, and we're not going to put up with what's going on right now anymore, because it's a lot of stuff that's on the radio and on TV, it's very homophobic, it's very gender biased, you know.
Completely sexist.
Yeah, and it's disgusting, and it's disgusting that people eat it up, and it's like, it's just okay, you know. I mean, I don't want to sit here and list band names, but you guys know who you are, and I think your time has come. You know, we're not trying to take over. We just want to let everyone know that there is a different way of doing what we do. And, you know, there's a lot of bands that have ethics and certain aesthetic as to what we do. And if people can just open their mind and give it a listen, they'll throw away the other stuff that really has no meaning, it just has no substance, no essence, you know. And we're not trying to say that we are the best thing since sliced bread or anything. We're just trying to provide a new choice for everybody, because there isn't a choice. No.
Not no Paso.
No.
We have a classic rock station, and we have like about 10 or 12 like Tex-Mex, which is awful music.
Yeah.
Awful.
It's funny because now we're being played on that same radio station that I totally hate. It's funny.
They've never supported us.
Yeah, they never support local bands ever. So it's kind of funny now that we do, and it's all simply because of the industry hype. And, you know, I mean, believe me, I love my Led Zeppelin and my Deep Purple and my Ozzy Osbourne, but I can't listen to that every day. So there was, like, the other stations, which was, like, KXCR, where you discover stuff like, I don't know, Mission of Burma or Descendants or Rhythm Pigs, which are from El Paso, too, and, you know, maybe, like, Human League and stuff like that. It was basically back when it was more considered new wave and punk. It didn't have the alternative title to it, you know? That's what I used to listen to.
But it was like only on Saturdays.
Yeah, it was only on, for like an hour or two.
Yeah.
So it was really bad. Then you'd have to like look for other sources of finding interesting music, which is if you had cable. If you're lucky enough to have cable back like late 80s, there was a show on USA called Night Flight, and they would have weirder bands like the Cramps or something, or documentaries like Another State of Mind would be shown on there. You know, but if you didn't have cable, you know, you'd have to go to the punk shows, and you would see bands like Operation Ivy or Mr. T Experience or MDC or Youth of Today would come through town. So and that was kind of connected through skateboarding. So that's how I learned about it, was through skateboarding and like Thrasher magazine and stuff like that. Iggy Pop, he was going to work with Ross Robinson, who we were recording with. And so they had been chit-chatting on the phone, playing phone tag, and we were there in the studio when Ross was talking to him, and Ross told Iggy that he was working with a band who was basically a byproduct of what he had created, and you know, the 70s and stuff like that. And when he was saying stuff like that, we were in the same
Embarrassed the hell out
room.
of
Yeah,
him.
and we were like, why are you telling him that, you know? And because he basically said, they're a lot like you were, man. And it's like, no,
Nope.
we're not. I mean, you can learn certain things from listening to people, you know, but anyways, he told him all that jazz, and then he suggested to Iggy that he come down, check out the studio, and lay down some vocals on a song, and he was like, okay, just send me the song. So we sent it to him. He liked it. He didn't really want to work on anything of his own, that's fine, you know. So I just wrote out all the parts, and we kind of like matched vocals, and then he would do the chorus kind of by himself, and it worked out really well. We clicked really well. He speaks Spanish fluently. Omar and him really clicked really well. And he just told us a bunch of stories about his good old days, and it was really interesting to listen to that, you know. And it was interesting to see what he is like now as a person, because I think people think that he came in with his shirt off, cutting himself with glass, and, you know, throwing mics around, and he was a much more mature person. And it seemed like he's honed his craft a lot more, and he learned how to express himself different ways other than what people expect him to be like. So